Welcome to Austin Tech Connect, the official podcast of the Austin Technology Council. My name is Thom Singer, and I have been with ATC for about 2.5 years, and I'm excited about some of the changes that we've made, but we have a long way to go. We're still trying to shake things up, and I think 2025 is an important year for everybody in our community to re-engage with Austin. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to engage with the Austin Technology Council, although I would really like that. It really means that you have to be involved with something. There comes a time when if we all step up and get involved, it's going to be awesome. So today's episode is going to be short, and I'm going to talk about ways to make sure that we as a community are doing things that help the individuals, the companies, and all of our Austin tech ecosystem. You see, there needs to be this idea that Austin is something amazing. Now, I know it's there. It's been there for 30, 40 years. I've always said it. Austinites have a very unnatural love affair with our community. We love being here, but so many things have changed. So many things have gotten flipped around that now is the time in 2025 for everybody to step up. And what we're looking for at the Austin Technology Council isn't the leaders of yesterday, although we love to celebrate the people who helped bring us to where we are. In fact, that's one of the reasons that ATC last year started the Austin Tech Hall of Fame, and that's going to continue this year. We're going to have another big celebration. We're going to induct 8 more people, kind of legacy foundational members in. We'll have a 2025 inductee, and we'll also celebrate a first-time founder award like we did last year. Heck, we sold that event out in 8 days, so I'm currently looking for a bigger venue. But the whole idea is we need to celebrate the past, we need to be present in the now, and we need to be looking to the future. And it's that looking to the future part that has me most excited about 2025. I'm working hard to appeal to those future-minded civic entrepreneurs who not only want to grow a company, they not only want to make a difference in their job, they not only want to make some money, but they want to make sure that Austin thrives into tomorrow. So I'm appealing to everybody who feels inside that, yeah, I think I am a community leader. Don't wait until someone taps you on the shoulder and says, poof, you're anointed. You're now a community leader. Instead, find an organization like the Austin Technology Council and help mold where it's going. Help its contribution to our greater ecosystem. So here's one thing. I'm not saying that ATC needs to be the organization. I don't believe for a second that any one person or any one organization should be the one who's calling all the shots. In fact, we're an eclectic, diverse community, so we need to have an eclectic, diverse group of organizations that are supporting our business and tech ecosystems. However, ATC has been here since 1992. We've gone through a lot of different versions of what the organization is, and I have my thinking cap on every single day as I think to what can this organization be tomorrow? And I think what we are is, and what we will become, is the thread that runs through and supports everything in tech. So that if somebody or some organization is trying to make Austin better in some way, we want to cheer them on. We want to let our audience know about their events. We want to show up and support. We want to be side by side with the Chamber of Commerce, with Capital Factory, with Austin Women in Technology, with the Association for Corporate Growth, with all of the groups that do things that make Austin thrive. So that's what this episode is about, is how and why can you and your company get involved with something? And I'm hoping some of you will say, we're ready to step up and help ATC go to that next level. But I'm hoping you'll say, how can we be involved with something? How can we make a difference in what's going on in the world? And how can we lead into tomorrow? Because when we do this, individuals benefit, companies benefit, and our whole community benefits. On the individual side, if you get involved, you expand your network. And let's face it, all throughout history, people have done business with and given opportunities to those they know, they like, and they trust. If you don't have a network, you're missing out. So that's one of the reasons to find something where you can get involved and contribute. Number 2 is professional development. When you have a network, you will be exposed to new ways to learn. There was a famous professional speaker back in the 90s named Charlie Tremendous Jones. Some of you, if you're old enough, may have heard him speak or read some of his books, but he had a famous saying. He said that the only way you're going to grow after you finish your formal education is through the books you read and the people you meet. Well, here's the thing. Fast forward 40 years, we don't read as many books and we don't have to read as many books. All the information in the world is at our fingertips. You can simply ask ChatGPT anything and you will have access within seconds to information. So it's not just about the learning that you do because everybody has access to that. It's about the people you meet and you build relationships with that matter. And that will help you with your personal development. It also helps you with your visibility. If you're hidden away, if you're the best kept secret in the community, nobody can do business with you. Nobody can bring you opportunities. You want to make sure that you stand up and say, hey, I'm part of this community, because that visibility also leads over time to you having credibility. And that's where opportunities are going to come your way. The next thing that having a network, that being involved, that giving back does is it exposes you to mentors, people who've been there before who are going to help guide you. Austin was built by seasoned entrepreneurs who sent the elevator back down to help the next generation. They didn't do it for their own ego. They did it because they wanted to help. They wanted to make sure that Austin was a place that was thriving and that we were going to build a business community. Dr. George Kosmeski famously said back in the 80s to everybody who would listen that if we don't build a stronger business community in Central Texas, he said, where will our grandchildren work? He wanted to live in Austin and have his family be able to stay here and have jobs and have opportunities. And that's why so many people of his generation and the generation that followed were so willing to mentor. And it still exists here in Austin. There are still people who want to help that next generation, and we have to bring them together. And then finally, for the individual, when you're involved in something, when you're contributing, when you're giving back, when you're part of a mission for the greater good, you're more fulfilled in life. You get out of bed just happier that you're making a difference. And that's why I'm asking those civic-minded entrepreneurs who are the next generation that we haven't even identified yet. I'm asking you to stand up and say, we're here and we want to guide Austin to the next level. From the standpoint of your company, one of the reasons to support as a member and as a sponsor for groups like ATC is it helps make your teams stronger. When employees get to be involved in associations and give back and they feel that their organization supports them, it actually makes the team more cohesive. It makes them know each other better. You want to make sure that it's not just you as the leader or one or two people in your company who are engaged in the community. You want to make sure your whole company is engaged. Next, it increases the influence that your company is going to have. When you're engaged in an association, it gives your company a voice. It gives you a seat at the table to make sure that you're being an advocate for the tech industry. And that's super important because when you do that, then people are listening to you. And you can't have influence if nobody's listening to you. And then finally, for the company, supporting the overall community, supporting organizations like the Chamber of Commerce, like Austin Technology Council, like all of these other groups. When you do that, companies that are known to support the community and organizations that help the community, they attract talent and they retain their talent because people want to be part of a company that's bigger than just making money. They want to be part of a company that's giving back to their community. And so when you do that, you're actually raising your ability to attract and retain employees. And then how does it help the whole community? Well, I'll tell you what, when our community comes together, when there's more community, collaboration, and conversation between our leaders here in Austin, it drives innovation. Austin isn't just a tech center. It's not just a place. Austin is an innovation center. The motto of the University of Texas is what starts here changes the world. And that's not just true for the 40 acres. It's true for all of Central Texas. We are an innovation hub. And the world is changing. Austin used to be a place that we were that scrappy alternative to the Silicon Valley, to New York, to Los Angeles. Well, the country now sees us as one of those hubs of success. But there are other communities that are now those scrappy, affordable alternatives. Are you aware that there are over 100 independent tech councils in communities all over North America? And 66 of them belong to an organization called TECNA, the Technology Councils of North America. And we get together and we share best practices. But this gives me a ringside seat to see what's happening in other communities. I've met with the council leaders, both from companies and from the staffs in Pittsburgh, in Arizona, in Washington State, in Las Vegas, in Nashville, in Ohio, all over the place. And I'm seeing firsthand what these communities are doing to grow their tech ecosystem and to attract employers to open offices here. That's what made Austin so great is we were a place where you could be creative and entrepreneurial, you could be growing a company, or you could be a big multinational opening an office here. That made us unique. But now that's what everybody is trying to do. So it changes the whole thing. So we need you. We need you to add your voice, to add your company so that we can share in coming up with solutions for how Austin can thrive into tomorrow. Because when we do this, the last big payoff for the whole community is it builds a resilient future. When companies and individuals contribute to our community's growth and to the well-being of everyone in Central Texas, it creates a stronger foundation for future generations. So this is the appeal that I'm making to you. Now is the time for your company to get involved with something. And maybe you already are, but if you're not, get involved. And if you're a larger company, make sure you're involved with 2, 3, 4, 5 organizations, because it's that web of everybody coming together that makes all the difference. Now, as I look to 2025, the Austin Technology Council has a lot of ways for you to get involved. Number one, we need your membership. We want your company to join and support what we're doing. It's not expensive and it doesn't take any commitment other than to say, boom, plant the flag and say, we support the future of this community and we support what you're trying to do at ATC. But more importantly, we need you to be involved. We need your people to show up at our events, because when people from your company show up, it's not just your company that wins, it's our whole community that wins. And then beyond that, the other thing that we need is we need sponsors. And that can be our tech companies who want to raise their visibility, but it also can be the law firms, the banks, the consulting firms, the accounting firms, and everybody who is part of our ecosystem and supports it. But you want to make sure that you have brand visibility and not just a small group who knows who you are. I spoke to a law firm the other day and they said, hey, one of our problems is we pulled back all of our sponsorship money and started doing private curated dinners. And they go, but we don't have any recognition now in the community after 5 or 6 years of doing that. We don't understand. We do these private dinners. We thought it would build a buzz and the people who come like it, but nobody else knows who we are. Well, there is a time and a place for a private curated dinner. I'm a big fan. But here's the thing. If you put on a private dinner in a private room at Perry's Steakhouse, it's not community building. It's not brand building, because if someone's not invited, they don't even know it's taking place. And if they know it's taking place and they're not invited, they might be a little bummed out that they're not on the list. So that doesn't build your brand. It doesn't build that sense of community. So I think organizations need to do both. You need to do your own marketing, private, curated events, and other outreach to your customers and prospects. But you also have to support the groups that are going community-wide so that people know who you are. Because if they've never heard of your organization and you're in a crowded field, I'll tell you what, you're not going to make the short list. And here's the secret. If you want more clients, you got to make the short list when they're looking to make a move in the product and services that you offer. Because most companies are going to talk to 2 or 3 people. If you're not, your company isn't one of those 2 or 3, you have a 0 chance of winning the business, which means you need to be a name they recognize. And that's where sponsorship of things in ATC can really help. And coming up in 2025, we have some amazing things that you can get involved with. We have the Gateway Happy Hour. Last year, we had 350 people at this event. It was a cross-section of the Austin tech ecosystem. It takes place a couple of days before South by Southwest kicks off. And it's a focus that says, we are Austin, and before the world gets here, we're going to party. Then we have the Austin Tech Hall of Fame. This is the thing I'm most proud of in all of the work that I've done with the Austin Technology Council. This will be our 2nd year. I think it's going to take us like 8 years to fully populate the Hall of Fame. And we'll have 8 foundational inductees. We'll have a 2025 inductee. We'll have a first-time founder award. But it's also a great chance for companies to sponsor this event, because unlike any other award show, this isn't just a one-time thing. The Hall of Fame is a living organization, which means that every year the people we add get added in, but we also remember who was put in the past. It's ongoing, and our sponsors will have that chance to have their logos there forever. If they were a sponsor of that year, we're always going to make sure we're giving them credit. And then later in the year, in the fall, we're going to have the 2025 C-Suite Summit. We just had that recently. It was a great event. We had an amazing program. And after it was over, I had a lot of people reach out to me and say, hey, I heard it was great. I probably should have come. Well, yeah, you probably should have come. If you're in a leadership role in a tech company, we would have loved to have had you there. And for next year, we would love to have your support in putting together how we form the agenda and attracting the right people to come. We need you. We're a grassroots organization, and we can't do this without the grassroots of Austin, which is you. You've listened to this podcast for the last, I don't know, 15 minutes. Here's the thing. That means you care about Austin. That means you probably care about ATC. And heck, if you've listened this long, you probably like me at least just a little bit. So I'm going to make an appeal. For Austin to move forward, we at ATC are trying really hard to not be the group, but to be a group, to be a thread that runs through and supports everything tech. Because from time to time, we need that thread that runs through medtech and fintech and biotech and software and semiconductors. We need that thread that runs through everything, because once in a while, we're going to have to pull on that thread and bring everybody together for an event, for education, for advocacy and policy stuff. We need to have that connective tissue. And that's what we want to do, is we want to help make sure we're supporting and helping everyone, every organization that's trying to make Austin better, from all the chambers of commerce to all the tech groups, etc. We want to be here and work together. Gone are the days where these types of groups compete. No, I want the members. I want the sponsorship. There's plenty to go around. And we need to make sure that all of the organizations that are here in Austin are working together. We are one Austin. We are not this group, that group, this group, that group, this leader, this person's ego, that person's agenda. We're one city. And we have a very bright future, but we can't do it without you. We need you to help strengthen the tech community. We need you to have your connections help bring opportunities, not just to yourself, but to everyone in the community. And we need your voice at the table to help shape the future. That is my appeal to you. As we go into 2025, I need you. I need members to support ATC. I need sponsors to support our events. And I mentioned the 3 signature big events. We also have a monthly networking breakfast. You can sponsor that. You can speak at that. We also have the newsletter. We have a sponsor for the newsletter. This podcast, we have a great opportunity to be the annual sponsor or just sponsor a few episodes of this particular podcast. And you can also help shape who our guests are, who are on the show. If your company's a member, we want to have you on the show. If your company's a member, we want to have your clients and your friends on the show. We need to have this dialogue of what is it that you want as the grassroots so that we can properly serve you. Anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. We're not going to have an episode next week because it'll be Thanksgiving week. So I challenge you, take just a minute. What are you thankful for about your opportunity to live and work in the Austin community? I say that because we are so fortunate. But for those who much is given, much is expected. And it's time that we expect our fellow citizens to stand up and find a way to support this community. We need people to show up. We need people to sponsor and belong. But more importantly, we need everybody to know each other. And we need people to really embrace what is the future of Austin. Who do we want to be, and how are we going to do it? I'll tell you what, I am so thankful that I've got to live in this community for 33 years. I'm very thankful that I've got to work with so many of you in this role at ATC over the past 2.5 years. And I'm thankful for what tomorrow brings for all of us who live and work here in Central Texas. So thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Share it with your friends. Make sure you come back every single week, and have yourself a very happy Thanksgiving. And we look forward to next year, because I think next year some awesome things are going to happen. Thank you.